The world of academia can sometimes feel like a world apart. It's a place of rigorous study, intellectual pursuit, and the pursuit of knowledge, but this pursuit can sometimes come at a cost. Some academics, lost in their research, might find themselves detached from the realities of everyday life. This detachment can lead to a kind of PhD syndrome. PhD syndrome isn't a formal diagnosis. It's a term used to describe a certain set of characteristics. These include a lack of real-world experience, an immersion in academic fantasies, and a reliance on the opinions of other academics. This syndrome can trap individuals in a bubble. They may prioritize theoretical knowledge over practical skills. Their social circles might be limited to other academics. This isolation can make it difficult to relate to people outside of their field. It's important to note that not all PhD holders experience this syndrome. Many successfully navigate both the academic world and the real world. They use their knowledge and skills to make valuable contributions to society. So the concept of PhD syndrome, with its emphasis on detachment and impracticality, is not new. In 1731, the Danish-Norwegian playwright Ludvig Holberg penned a comedy titled Erasmus Montanus. This play tells the story of Rasmus Berg, a farmer's son who goes off to study at the University of Copenhagen. Rasmus returns to his village transformed. He calls himself Erasmus Montanus and spouts learned theories. He even tries to convince his mother that the earth is round, a concept she finds utterly ridiculous. Erasmus Montanus embodies the archetype of the out-of-touch scholar. He prioritizes abstract knowledge over common sense and practical wisdom. He looks down upon those who haven't received a formal education. This satirical play serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the potential pitfalls of excessive academic zeal. PhD syndrome shares similarities with another phenomenon prevalent in academia, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome describes the persistent feeling of inadequacy that many high-achieving individuals experience. Those suffering from imposter syndrome often doubt their accomplishments and fear being exposed as frauds. They attribute their success to luck or external factors rather than their own abilities. This constant self-doubt can lead to anxiety, stress, and a diminished sense of self-worth. The link between PhD syndrome and imposter syndrome lies in the reliance on external validation. Individuals with PhD syndrome may seek affirmation from other academics, constantly comparing themselves to their peers. This comparison can fuel feelings of inadequacy, even when their work is commendable. The pressure to excel in academia is immense. Students are expected to publish groundbreaking research, secure prestigious grants, and present at international conferences. This pressure to achieve can be overwhelming, contributing to both PhD syndrome and imposter syndrome. The competitive nature of academia can exacerbate these feelings. Students may feel like they are constantly being judged and compared to their peers. This constant pressure can lead to burnout, anxiety, and a sense of isolation. Furthermore, the traditional academic career path often involves years of precarious employment. Postdoctoral positions are highly competitive and often short-term. This uncertainty can create financial strain and make it difficult to establish a stable career. Section 5. Social barriers and financial strain. The journey through academia is not always an equal one. Students from underrepresented backgrounds often face additional challenges that can contribute to feelings of imposter syndrome and isolation. Financial strain is a significant barrier for many students. Tuition fees, living expenses, and the cost of research materials can create a heavy burden. Many students are forced to work long hours in low-paying jobs to make ends meet, leaving them with less time and energy to focus on their studies. Social barriers can also be isolating. Students from working-class backgrounds, for example, may feel out of place in an environment dominated by middle-class values and expectations. They may feel pressure to conform, to adopt a different accent or style of speaking, which can lead to feelings of inauthenticity. Section 6. Gender disparities in academia. Gender disparities persist in academia, particularly in STEM fields. Women are often underrepresented in senior faculty positions and may face bias and discrimination. These inequities can contribute to feelings of imposter syndrome and hinder career advancement. Studies have shown that female doctoral students report higher levels of imposter syndrome than their male counterparts. This disparity can be attributed to a number of factors, including societal expectations, lack of role models, and a lack of support. Addressing gender disparities in academia requires systemic change. This includes promoting diversity and inclusion at all levels, providing mentorship and support for women in STEM, and challenging unconscious bias. Section 7. The power of mentorship. Mentorship plays a vital role in supporting students and mitigating imposter syndrome in academia. A supportive mentor can provide guidance, encouragement, and a sounding board for doubts and anxieties. Research has shown that supervisors with high empathy levels can significantly reduce imposter syndrome among doctoral students. Empathetic mentors create a safe space for students to express their concerns and receive constructive feedback without feeling judged. Mentorship can also help students navigate the challenges of academia, both personal and professional. A good mentor can offer advice on research, publishing, networking, and work-life balance. They can also help students build confidence and develop their professional identity. Section 8. Breaking down the walls of academia. Addressing the issues of PhD syndrome and imposter syndrome requires a multifaceted approach that tackles both individual and systemic factors. Universities and academic institutions have a responsibility to create a more inclusive and supportive environment for all students. One important step is to provide more comprehensive support services. This includes mental health counseling, financial aid, and career guidance. Universities should also offer workshops and training programs on imposter syndrome, stress management, and work-life balance. Another important step is to challenge the culture of overwork and competition that pervades academia. Encouraging collaboration over competition, promoting work-life balance, and recognizing the importance of diversity can all contribute to a healthier and more supportive academic environment. Section 9. Finding your voice and your value. Navigating the world of academia can be challenging, but it can also be incredibly rewarding. It's a place where you can pursue your passions, expand your knowledge, and contribute to the advancement of human understanding. If you're struggling with feelings of imposter syndrome or find yourself relating to the concept of PhD syndrome, it's important to remember that you're not alone. These feelings are common and there are ways to overcome them. Seek out support from mentors, peers, and mental health professionals. Challenge your negative self-talk and focus on your accomplishments. Remember that your worth is not defined by your academic achievements, but by your inherent value as a human being. Embrace your unique perspective and experiences. Your background, your voice, and your ideas are valuable assets to the academic community. Don't be afraid to share them.